Hey guys, it's Corey from Redefining Strength. Today I want to share with you 5 foot and ankle stretches that you can use to really strengthen your foundation. Because our feet and ankles are our foundation, and immobility or instability there can lead to issues up our entire body. When we talk about strengthening our feet and ankles, we want to talk about not only improving our ankle and foot mobility, but also improving our stability. We need a strong foundation so we don't end up with knee, hip, or even lower back aches and pains. That sprained ankle or that plantar fasciitis that you just sort of rested and let get better, but you didn't actually do anything to correct the mobility restrictions that might have led to it in the first place, could be leading to your hip pain now or even your lower back aches and pains. So it's super key that we always address the culprit of our pain and make sure that both our feet and ankles are mobile and stable. These 5 moves will help you loosen up and build stability at your feet and ankles and really build a strong foundation. Exercise number 1 is the heel walks. This is a great move if you've ever had shin splints or tight calves. It will strengthen your ability to dorsiflex your ankles or draw your toes up towards your shins. This is incredibly important, especially if you're a runner and you want to prevent shin splints and have a more efficient running gait. It's also key if you find you struggle to squat lower. To do this move, you're going to rock back on your heels as you're standing. Try and lift your toes up towards your shin. You can then stand in one place or even walk around as you do this movement. It's really good to do this movement for time over even reps. Exercise number 2 is the single leg rocking foot and ankle stretch. This is a great move to work on both your foot and ankle mobility and isolate each side, because we're not perfectly balanced, and this will help us address any imbalances we may have, especially if we've had a previous injury only on one side. To do this move, you're going to bend one knee and put that leg in front, extending your other leg behind you. You're going to actually extend your toes as you sort of rock forward over your foot, dropping your knee towards the ground. You're then going to sit back, allowing your heel to touch down to the ground. This is going to work on your ankle mobility. When you rock back forward and you extend your toes, you're really going to stretch out the bottom of your foot. If you've ever had plantar fasciitis or ankle issues, this is a great move to include. Because this is a unilateral move, it's a great way to address any imbalances so you don't compensate during even bilateral movements. If you struggle with knee flexion, you're going to place your feet up on a wall. Place the ball of your foot a little higher off the ground. This will stretch not only your foot, but as you drive your knee forward, it will also work on your ankle mobility. It's a great way to improve your ankle dorsiflexion if you can't kneel on the ground. Exercise number 3 is the peroneal and shin stretch. This is a great move to include to improve your plantar flexion or pointing your toes. It's a great stretch if you've ever had shin splints or if you find that your feet flatten or turn out during your squatting or even during your runs. To do this move, you're going to kneel on the ground. You're going to point your toes and sit back on your heels. You can even start to lean back, lowering your elbows towards the ground. This can also make it a great quad stretch. Because of the knee flexion required to do this stretch, if it's too much, you can do this standing. You can even do a unilateral variation. To do that variation standing, you're going to point your toes and rest on the top of your foot. You can stand by a wall and place your hands on the wall for balance. You'll then sort of rock your knee forward, stretching out the front of your leg. You can turn your toes slightly in to even get more of the outside of your lower leg. Hold here or even perform little rocks, especially if you're doing it before your workout. But you should feel this down the front and side of your lower leg. Exercise number 4 is foot foam rolling. This is a key move to include because we have to remember that if a muscle is tight, it's going to cause other restrictions even further up our body. So if you've had Achilles or even calf issues, it might be the culprit. While we might not realize that underneath our foot is even tight, it's really key that we address tightness there, as that could even lead to Achilles or calf issues. It could even restrict our ankle mobility. To roll out your foot, place a ball on the ground. The smaller and harder the ball you use, the more you're really going to be able to apply pressure. Make sure though that you use a tool that is appropriate in terms of the pressure that you apply, because you don't want to be tensing against the ball. You want to be able to relax and breathe into it. With the ball on the ground, step on top of the ball. Roll the ball to find a tight spot underneath your foot and then hold there. You can even extend and flex your toes to tighten and relax the muscles. Hold here and then even switch feet. It's a great way to address each foot independently and make sure that you're addressing any areas of tightness specifically, even if you have them only on one side. When you do all of these moves, it's okay to sometimes only spend time on one side if you're only tight on that side. It's really key that we include some foam rolling to relax overactive muscles before we even go into the stretching movements. Exercise number 5 is the extended range of motion calf raise. After we foam roll and stretch, it's really key that we strengthen through a full range of motion. If we don't strengthen through the full range of motion that we've tried hard to build, we're not going to retain that range of motion. With the extended range of motion calf raise, you're going to work past the point you could if you were just doing the calf raise off the ground. This is a great way to really make sure that you're retaining the dorsiflexion you're working hard to build. So when you do this movement, you're going to place the ball of your foot up on a plate weight or even a step. You're going to then get a nice stretch in your calf, letting your heel sink down as low as you can. With the ball of your foot up on the object, you're then going to press off either the plate weight or the step to really raise all the way up. Feel your calf working to press all the way off the ball of your foot. Then slowly lower back down into that full stretch. You want to lower past the box or step to make sure that you're getting a nice stretch on your calves and working through that full range of motion. Slow down the eccentric or the lower down. This is a great way to really build up that calf and lower leg strength, especially if you've ever had Achilles issues in the past. Do this movement in a controlled fashion. You can not only do both legs at the same time, but also make it a unilateral movement if you have an issue just on one side. With all these 5 exercises, make sure that you're focused on your areas of tightness and immobility. If you only have issues on one side, you might only do some of these movements on one side. It may not be necessary to include both sides when you're doing your prehab work. Sometimes we have to do imbalanced prehab work to correct imbalances. If you like the video, make sure to like it, comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe. We're posting new videos each week.